Now, how many of you are, let me compare the reading and the grammar. Section 2 is grammar. 44 questions, like the SAT. No difference here. No difference. Couldn't tell the difference between the two. I couldn't tell you if this is an SAT or PSAT because they're identical on this section. They call it writing and language. That's page 22. How many of you are better at reading than grammar? How many better at grammar than reading? Well, let me give you 2 points on the... How do you improve on reading? Yeah, I guess actually on this test I'd say do more practice. How do you improve on grammar? I'd say probably practice on the grammar test, because if it's going to be for the SAT, you might as well know what they're going to ask, right? Because they're always going to ask the same type of question. Always. It's just amazing how, well, it's not amazing. They have to be consistent. They have to make sure the test is the same from 1 month to the next, from 1 year to the next. They basically have made them all at the same time. They made them all like carbon copies of, I mean, that's the whole point. They have to make them the same. That's what makes them consistent. That's what it has to be if it's standardized. They can't change the test. They changed it years ago, and once they make the changes, the rules apply to everything. So the questions look the same. Only difference is like you're playing the same game but a different team. But they're all the same. Basically, if you know how to play the game, you're going to play well. So here's the good news. To determine the reading score, they call it reading. You can call it reading and writing and language. They take those two sections. Let me get to this here and show you what they do. You have a score for the reading. PSAT or SAT, matters the same. Then you have a score for the grammar. And notice grammar is only 35 minutes. It's very short. And the reading is, I think, 60 minutes or 50-something minutes on the PSAT. Almost the same length, long. What they do is they average the two scores. So the real key is raise your grammar score, because that's the one you can really improve. And for 35 minutes is worth just as much as the reading. Just as much. You've got the same, you've got 50-50. And that's a huge advantage. Because that means if your reading is okay, your grammar can raise it. If your reading isn't so good, your grammar can raise it. If you can raise your grammar, you're raising your reading. If you can raise your grammar and your reading, your score is going up. I'll give you an example. This is so typical. I have students who are scoring in the 400s, 450s in the reading, until they get better. The grammar starts off at 400s, 450s. Within a week, the grammar's in the 600s. The reading may be in the 500s. Add those together and average them here. You're talking 550s now. That's a 100-point increase in just a matter of 2 days. And you could do it in a matter of just practice. So let's go over a couple of these. Let's see what we're looking for. Because there's those who know. Those who don't know. Let's look at the directions. I want to see what I haven't read the directions. Let's see what they tell you. It says, each passage is accompanied by whatever. Consider how they may be edited. This sounds like a school class here. A passage may be blah, blah, blah. Some will direct you to an underlined blah. After reading it, choose the answer that most effectively improves the quality of whatever. And if you think the best choice is the same, keep it as no change. We're okay on that, no change. Somebody actually asked me, what do they mean by no change? It means you keep it the way it is. Now, they're not telling you what to really look for. And those who know. Which answer should you be looking for? The one that is shortest. That's the rule they don't tell you. They used to say something close to that. ACT never went there. They have the same test. Basically, they give you more problems, so there's more time issue. Same questions, kind of. Shortest. Now, how does it work? Well, let's try a couple. Let's just try a couple. You all got in front of you, right? Let's try it. I haven't done this one. I haven't marked anything. I'll give you like 3 minutes. Let's see if you can get the first. I'll give you 2 minutes. See if you can do the first 2 or 3. You have to read what you have to read. Let's see how it goes. Everybody done with the first three? How many are done? How many are still reading? Good. I'm glad you're not reading it too much. Your job. What's your main goal here? Get the right answers. Let's go for it. Now, I haven't done this one before. You're the first group I'm working with, just to see how predictable this test is. What'd you get for number 1? How many put C? Why'd you put C? Because that's the answer. C is the answer. So there it is, right off the beginning, right off the bat, without even knowing it. It's the shortest. Why? I didn't write the game. I don't write the rules. I just figured out how it works. Question? Yes?
Who wrote the test?
College board. They're the makers of the test. I'm the coach. They're the umpires. They're the referees. They make it. I just try to figure them out. And then I show you how to play the game right. I can't take the test for you, but I could show you how they play it, what they want. And why does that work? I don't know. I didn't make the test. You know, I could say, that's amazing. It's the shortest again. And why don't they tell you that? Why should they? Right? Their job is to make this test look very difficult and very complicated. And look at the direction. Sounds like you have to be an expert on grammar. You have to have taken 7 classes. Just look for the shortest. There, that'll get you the answer. It isn't always true. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Cross it off. Let's try number 2. Now, this is a word choice. I'll give you a hint on word choice. Don't get carried away with the words. Don't say, how does he feel? He feels a lot of love. No. He feels a whole lot of good. No. Those aren't going to work. He's happy. Thank you. Don't put silly words. They don't want silly words. They don't want words you've never seen before. He feels as though he's in an ethereal paradise. No. That's just beyond what this test wants. The grammar wants it simple. What'd you get for number 2? A says big reasons behind. Big. How big is the reason? What's this big? Really? Answer's D. Primary. Big reason. What's a big reason? Oh, it's really big. How big? Big. No. That's stupid. They don't want silly things. They don't want exclamation points. They don't want ... They want it simple. That's standardized English. That's their terminology. Let's try the third one. Let's see what that looks like. This looks like a very common. The average American spend. Answer is spends. Subject-verb agreement. Most common on this test. Always this. How many got all 3 right? Nice. How many see the mistake you made? That's the key to improvement, because you know they're going to ask you the same questions over and over. That's guaranteed. They're going to ask you the same questions. Let's just try a couple more. In fact, let's just go to somewhere else. Take a look at number 5. There's something about number 5. What's the problem with number 5? You have to read. That's automatically a time waster. But let me give you the good news. And if you practice, and I'm assuming it's in groups of 11 like all the SAT. Yep, everything's in groups of 11, just like the SAT. It starts over after 11. You can do 11 problems. Give yourself 9 minutes. And if you are able to finish all 11 questions, you don't have a time problem. So the thing about number 5 is it's a time waster if time's a problem. Now on the ACT, time's a problem. They give you 75 questions and only 45 minutes. They just really push it. On this test, I found there's not been a problem with time. So I look at number 5 and go, it's a time waster, but if time's not a problem, you're going to get it right. If you're reading it, you get it right. I'm always amazed when I ask what you get for that answer, and 3/4 or more of the class gets it right. And it's like, well, I guess that's the end of that. It's not a problem. Is it a time waster? If you have time, it's not. Is it hard? Apparently not. So don't be shocked if those are the ones you get right. If you're reading it while you're doing it, you know where it goes. I don't know what the answer is. Did anybody answer number 5 yet? What'd you get? How many got C? Yeah, that's probably the answer. It's in the back there. You got the answers in the back. I'm assuming it's correct. Let me check real fast. Is that C? Somebody can check for me. Is it C? Mr. C, is it? What a surprise. See what I mean? That's the experience. I know what works and what doesn't. And when the time's not a problem, you're going to get it right. So when I say time waster, don't be fooled on this section, on this test, the SAT, PSAT. Time is not a problem. So time waster is a theory in this case, but not really something that actually you need to worry about. Unless you have problem finishing 11 problems in 9 minutes, then that's a different story. Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, look at number 6. I'll just make it point blank. Time waster? Yes. Is time a problem? No. Will you get it right? Probably. So don't be intimidated by these. If you're reading it, you can look at it and go, well, yeah, obviously, I don't know if it's a yes or no. Let's just say it's a no. Obviously, you don't need that because, you'll know. This is not a reading test. This is a grammar. So basically, they're asking you, should it be kept? And you would know immediately. You don't have to go back and find out what they're saying. It's a question of, do you need it? Okay, so let's go on. Oh, look at next page. Look at page 27. Do you notice a graph there? I'll give you a hint. What should you look at to answer a question? Whatever question is probably somewhere on the next, I don't know where it is. Wherever there's a graph question attached to that. Anybody see a graph question? Wouldn't have a graph without a question. Oh, it's call it a chart. Question 15. What do you look at to answer 15? Chart only. Avoid reading it because the original no change may or may not be accurate. Because I had people read it and go, yeah, that makes sense. You mean grammatically it makes sense, but that's not what they're asking. They're asking, is that what the chart is saying? And they look at the chart and go, no, it's not saying that. Well, then that's not the answer. So stick to the chart. Look at the choices, including the original, and see which of those is, no, not shortest. It's not grammar. It's wrong. Which is wrong. And then start working your way backwards. And then you'll probably see the one you have left is the one you go, oh, I get it. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's the answer. That's it. That's it. All you can do on this is just practice now and you know what to do. Which answer are you looking for? The one that is? Shortest. Reading, you're looking for the one that is wrong. Make sense? That's 2 out of the 4 sections. That's half the test right there. Now you can practice and you know what you're doing. Now you can see if you get better. Anybody have any questions with either of those 2 sections? Anything you just can't wait to know? Notice not so much vocabulary. And, the definitions could be vocabulary, but usually not. And the grammar, you keep it simple. So let's go to math.